discuss, there are going to be more AI agents is going to be there on the Web3 security, specific to the one, maybe the attack vector or the one language security. Like in Web3, we have multiple languages where we can write this.
Welcome to Ofofo Studio. My guest for today is Preetam Rao, CEO and co-founder at QuillAudits. QuillAudits is one of India's leading Web3 security companies, and they've made a name for themselves globally by taking in about 1,000 companies which they have secured so far. Is that right, Preetam?
Definitely right.
That's quite a feat.
Yeah.
So can you just take me through why did you start QuillAudits? Why did you think this was an area for you to focus on?
So my journey is quite interesting. Right now, back in 2016-17, when I got to know about Web3 blockchain via one company, they were building something in crypto, right? Then I always wanted to do the startups world, right? So
you were like an entrepreneur first.
I'm always entrepreneur first, right? Because
you wanted to do something of your own, and you decided this is an area that you should go after.
And why I decided, like back in 2014-15, when the startup world is very, very like new.
Correct.
When Flipkart, Housing.com was everyone there, Your Story was coming up, right?
Right.
So I used to see this story on Your Story. This started got funded. This, right? So I always wanted to do something. And back in like 14-15, I was building something also for the e-commerce.
Okay.
Then in 2016-17, while working in the crypto stuff, I realized like this is something new. I should go full in, right? I left the company, and then in 2017 July we started.
Right.
And why we started, like I just as a developer, I started as a blockchain development company in 2017.
Okay.
And the time was where most of these new projects was coming in 2017. In Web3, there was one kind of new like narrative ICO initial coin offering where you can just launch your new token and make just money in just thin air, right?
Right.
And because of that, so many hacks and scams were happening, right? There was no real product was there. So I realized while working on the multiple projects, they raised $20-30 million. While writing the code, I realized, this single bug or single vulnerability can cause millions of dollars of loss because these smart contracts having so much vulnerabilities, the money is locked in the contracts. And that's how we started the company.
Perfect. So before dabbling with Web3, were there any other ideas that interested you? Or was this the first preneur of your entrepreneurship?
So I think it was kind of my first, but as I told you, like in 2015 and 16, I know when I was working in Times Internet, the Times Internet was kind of full of startup culture, right? So I know at the time there was one TV web series was there, right?
Pictures. Yeah,
Pictures is there, right? Yeah. So the initial there was one scene in Pictures where the pitch at the that's the space used to be like from the Times of India, the Times Internet, right? So Times Internet used to incubate these startups.
Okay.
But somehow they shifted back to the Bangalore, that space. I'm not sure what the name was. So at that time I started realizing, Times Internet is hub of startups.
Right.
You name like ClickBuzz, Ghana.com.
Yeah.
You name anything, right? Yeah. Times of India owns so much in digital world in India, right? From credit card to your, Filmfare Awards to you name anything. Yeah. And at the time, Times was, incubating, investing in so much companies. So that's how my journey started. But at the times, what I used to do, like 5 days I used to work in the company, but like 2 days, I was very passionate about one project. I used to code for that project, and I just made it live also, right?
Yeah.
That was like kind of my first, you can say, step towards the building something my own, right? But you can say the full is QuillAudits that I'm doing from last 7 years. And but as a founder, like what I feel, 7 years is too much into one company that I feel, right? Okay. So every year, kind of what I do, I change my strategy, like try to fail myself. I think this is the I set some kind of goals, like I want to achieve this something in myself, and then end of year I think I achieved this, right? Let's learn something new, and that next year is completely different for me as a founder.
Yeah.
So I always take every new year as a new startup. The way and every 2 years yeah, you can say the new phase comes in the company. In a startup, I feel like 2 years is a good to because in every journey of a startup, like these persons is going to help you scale the company, right?
Correct.
As initial 2017, 18, we used to have like the maybe C players, like there is ABC players, like you can name it. Then we hired B players. Now we're having A players, right? So
Nice.
that's how the journey going.
Yeah. So can you give me some examples of some radical shifts or pivots that you've taken on the course of your journey?
I think, as I said, like we started as a blockchain development company, right? So in 2017, 18, we initially started with like so much products, right? We used to do, we were developing one supply chain solution on the blockchain.
Okay.
We developing one tokenization platform.
When you say we, it was you and?
Company.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
so you formed your own team then?
Yeah, found our own team in 2018.
Okay.
You can say 2017 and we found it, right? So around 10, 15 guys were there.
How did you go about finding those people to, accompany you on that mission?
Very, so like, when I left my company in 2017.
Times Internet?
No. Times Internet I left in 2015.
Okay.
Then I joined one more startup as a, backend developer. Then I became a CTO there.
What did they do?
They were aggregating something on the e-commerce, the coupons and everything.
Okay.
These kind of startups very popular in 2015, 17.
Groupon and all that.
Yeah. But then I joined one company. I left that company, joined Darwin Labs. It used to be like India's first.
Darwin Labs was pretty popular, yeah.
Pretty popular, and they did some scams also. Like these cases are still going, right? So every day. But that was the first company that actually started doing something.
Right.
And
you rose to be the CTO over there.
No, so I was not CTO. I was the, like you can say, top like initial first 10 employees, and then we scaled the company to 200 guys in like just 8 or 9 months.
Wow.
That was the scale. But now we see, the initial 10 guys of that company is now running their own company, successful companies. So that 10 guys were very, kind of A players that build the company.
Yeah. So you met your team players over there?
I met my co-founder in that e-commerce company.
Okay.
I hired him because I was just leaving the company, and I hired him to lead the backend part.
Right.
Then he also left the company, and then he joined me in the Darwin Lab company. Then we again met together. We discussed some ideas and everything. We worked together for around one year.
Okay.
Then I left the company. Then he also left the company. And then 2017 and we hired one content guy, and then we closed our first project.
Okay.
2017, I think November, December, and that's how we hired two, three more guys. But till now, until that time period, we were not officially registered.
Okay.
We registered in 2018 March.
All right.
And then
up until that time, you were into blockchain development, not security.
Not security.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we hired more guys. Like in 2018, we were around like 15, 20 guys were there.
Okay. And then the focus became security.
Then the focus became while working on the 2018 especially, or 17 also, like, these so many hacks and scams are happening.
Right.
And as you asked, like, what was the radical step or pivot we made? So in 2018, what we realized, we were doing so many stuff, right? We were not focused, right? So I think we realized in the end, like, if you want to scale, we need to stop doing these other things. Let's focus on only one thing that we can scale.
Okay.
Then we just closed everything and just started focusing on the one thing. So we used to have 3 or 4 projects. One is QuillTrace. Then Tokenic was there. There was one protocol. DNFT is a NFT fractions of NFT. We're building something.
Okay.
Then the QuillAudits side. So as a 15 guys, or like very first, with 4 projects was so much, right? So we closed everything and we started focusing on the QuillAudits. And that was the, I think, main step for us to scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is 2018-19.
18-19, yeah.
Right. I mean, right now, the Web3 security space is still a little more evolved.
Yeah.
At that time, I don't think there would have been a lot of companies doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. What was the landscape then like, and how has it transformed now?
So initially, I think used to be 4 or 5 good companies. One is Consensus, Diligence, Open Zeppelin was there. 2, 3 more companies were also there. But these projects, right, and even building a Web3 was not thinking about the security also as the first step, right?
Right.
So it was not so much popular. Slowly, the serious guys started building in Web3, started coming from the Web2 stuff, and these hacks were increasing. Then they realized like there is something security is also there, right? Like maybe in 2017, 18, these protocols were very new. The money locked in the smart contract was maybe like $10 million, $50 million. Now they're having like billions of dollars locked in one smart contract, right? Now, as is in this journey, you can see now with the time, these like the founders, everyone realized like there's need of so much security in Web3. Initially used to be these companies only. The landscape is now completely changing. Now we having like independent auditors is also there. We have the bug bounty platforms like Immunify, Code for Arena is also there. We having audit tools is also there, like where you can just paste the code, they will give the report and everything is there, right? So everything is changed now. AI is coming, right? And AI plus Web3 security is something new landscape where we currently developing our QuillAI network. This is something. So this is like journey is transitioning. Initially, everyone was just focusing on the smart contract audit when we talk about Web3 security. But Web3 security is not only about like smart contract audit, right?
What all are there?
As you more into like Web2 stuff, right? So like you building any protocol, smart contract is just part of the protocol, right? You having your front end, your back end, the VAPT and every stuff is there. And the monitoring part is also important. Monitoring means now your like smart contracts is deployed, like millions of dollars are like locked in your smart contract. Now you need more monitoring on suspicious transaction or like if any hack is going to happen. How you can get the alert and take any actions, that's extremely important, right? So the like you can say pre-deployment and the post-deployment, these two things are now extremely important, and that's how the things are changing. Initially the Web3 security was more around the protocols. Now it's more about the user side also. Like as a retail user or investor, I want to invest in any protocol. I can just go to any platform and just type the address of that token, and I can see the code quality of the project, like the code is safe, right? That's fine. But in Web3, the code is not everything. It's more important like how the market of the project is going. Like what's the liquidity, who's the owner, who's the creator, like any backdoor in the smart contracts and everything. So like now these kind of platforms are also coming. So as a retail user, investor, you can make decision you want to invest in any product or not. Now there is something interesting hacks or like things are happening. Like we want to interact with any protocol. Like how the interaction works in Web3, like the MetaMask is there, the wallet is there. This is the first step of, you want to transition into Web3, right? You want to interact with any protocol. It can be Uniswap or DeFi, NFT, DAO. Like there's multiple use case of Web3, right? You want to interact with any decentralized protocol, you need to connect to your MetaMask wallet, right? And like just assume in that protocol, there is some function you want to interact or, connect. Initially, what was happening as a retail user investor, you don't know like what's going to happen, right? What this transaction is going to do. Now these Chrome extensions are coming. They just simulate the transaction first, and they give you the result, like the score of the right. It can steal your money, or maybe the maybe they just shown on the front end. You can transfer money, but I'm not sure what's in the right. So these kind of extensions is also coming. So end-to-end security is now more important. Like the VAPT, smart contract audit. Go with the bug bounty platforms, set up post monitoring alerts, and again the last step that is extremely important is like just assume everything is okay, but there is still 0.1% chance, right? Go with the insurance, like Web3 insurance companies are also coming.
That's very interesting. Right?
So and insurance is the only last thing that can save you. Right? Like just assume somehow. You missed anything, right? So this is a full stack of Web3 security, not only smart contract audit. And this is now mostly like more advanced or more these protocols choosing this proper stack.
So Preetam, what I like about QuillAudits is that it's got an impressive suite of products. Like even when you were discussing right now, you were taking me through the entire life cycle. Right, like right from inception to like monitoring, and at the same time also getting insurance. Can you take me through all of the products that are there on QuillAudits and what is it that they individually do?
Okay, so how the journey looks like. If anyone is coming on the QuillAudits is the first basic step is as a developer, you just writing the contract, right? And you maybe don't want to go to QuillAudits, any company. So we have like this AI powered audit tool, QuillShield. So as a developer, you can just connect your GitHub or like maybe integrate into your ID.
Nice.
When you're writing the code, you can see the at least 70 or 80 or 90% accuracy. If like, there is some basic bugs are there.
It's like Copilot.
It's a kind of Copilot, right?
Okay.
And it auto fix your vulnerabilities also.
Nice.
Right? Currently in Solidity, no one is doing, but we are training the model in such way it suggests you like this bug is there. You click on the auto fix, it's update your code also. It's kind of Copilot you can, right?
Okay.
Now, like just assume you gone through it. Now your smart contract is done. Everything is done. And now you can go to QuillAudits, and then we'll help you in the manual audit and everything, right? Now, as I told you, like maybe as a QuillAudits company, like 2 auditors are working on the project, but you need like maximum eyes of third party. You can say auditors or developers or
Scrutiny.
So you can go to we developed one red team, right? So where we have around 15-20 white hackers guys.
Nice.
So as a project you can set up your own bounty. You want to pay like $2,000 $3,000 for high vulnerability, right? So now again these guys are going to check your project again.
Nice.
Again we are trying to minimize the hack of chances of the hacks, right? Like as a AI, then the manual audit, then the red team is there. And the last step is you can set your own monitoring also, right? You can set monitoring like this. There is some basic monitoring is there, like if this function value is between 10 to like 15 or something, you should get the alert, right? This is very basic monitoring, right? And you feel this function can be only called by me as a owner, but there's some kind of hack or there's some kind of vulnerability. Someone is calling that function, I should also get the alert, right?
Right.
So this kind of basic monitoring is there. The advanced monitoring is there, like if any kind of hack is happening, like. So in Web3 we have different attack vectors, like Solidity is having their own attack vectors. The narrative or the category is having different attack vectors. So DeFi is having their own attack vectors, like sandwich attacks, these kind of attacks. NFT is having their own attack vectors. So if any kind of these attack vectors is happening on your protocol on based on, you should also get the alert, right?
Right.
And the main important part of this is like some companies are also working on it. We not work on it. As a company, I know like this suspicious transaction is going, but how you can stop the transaction?
Correct.
That's more important, right? What you will get from the alert, like right? But currently we are not doing that, but we are currently working on it. The last step is we having the insurance partners. I think 3-4 insurance partners we are having. You can opt in for the insurance. So this is the full stack we provide to the projects.
Okay, perfect. So coming to insurance, what are some of the vectors that they judge it by? What affects your premium rates in Web3?
For the insurance?
Yes.
I think for that these insurance guys are right to answer the question, but I think I seen their protocol. So they provide insurance based on multiple factors, right? It can be the hack on the smart contract size also. It can be on the liquidity also, like if there is any issue in your liquidity of the protocol.
Okay.
If there is any compliance side, if there are any issues there. So they define their own process, like how they are going to give the insurance.
Okay.
But from our side, not explore too much like how they want judging the insurance, because we just connect the partners the way you guys work. Just connect to the insurance partners and they decide which to go with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you get inquiries for QuillAudits, what are some of the most common problems that you're approached by? When customers come to you or prospects come to you, what are some of the questions that are common among most of them? Like, I need something. So for example, I'll give you an example, right? So whenever we have any inquiry for compliance, it's almost always companies who are working with larger customers or banks, which require them to have certain compliance practices in place, which is why they come to us and like, I need this thing done in like 2-3 months. So are there any things that you are most often approached by?
I think like if I like how like why these Web3 projects need security, right? There is multiple factors behind it.
Okay.
Some guys just need the audit. Something at least 90%. Some guys, 90% guys need just to audit to flex it, like we did the audit from this company and they wanna just pump their coin. Right. So this is their motive behind it. Then other guys are more serious about it. Like if they're coming, they completely check. If they're coming to QuillAudits and they're having some DeFi projects, they clearly ask, like, do you have the DeFi auditors guy? Like what kind of projects you have audited, right? They want to make sure like your auditors having that kind of expertise on the DeFi side, because DeFi is more like kind of fintech. You understand everything.
Correct.
Right. And some questions are around them is the 10% guys are more serious. They want to list their project on like maybe any central exchange like Binance or anyone.
Yeah.
So they ask, do same in the compliance side. Do these your reports accepts the exchange accepts your report, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And that's extremely important for them. Like before any exchange list any project or token, they ask the audit report from these companies, right? So we mostly partner with these exchanges, and these exchanges accept our audit report. So that's the most important question. They ask, do this Polonix exchange, this Binance exchange accept your report, and then if you feel they accept it, then they go for the audit.
All right.
And and they are main important, but again 90% just do the audit for the.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Preetam, like, what differentiates QuillAudits from other Web3 security players out there?
Okay. Well, so what differentiates us? I think still the market is very big, right? Like around 1 billion smart contracts deployed till now across multiple chains. I'm just talking about the EVM chains.
What are EVM chains?
So like chains, like we talk about blockchains, right? So like one is Ethereum. Like initially, like how this journey started. One was Bitcoin, then Ethereum was there. So Ethereum having then one execution engine that we call is EVM, right? That execute the code. And now the other chains are coming also. Now like Ethereum is so much popular. Now these chains also like going with the EVM way, right? So they don't want to build their own language for
it's been done before.
Yeah. So they like you can call it in Solidity, right?
Yeah.
So these are mostly EVM chains, and now I think most chains supports EVM. Then we have like Bitcoin is there, but in Bitcoin we can't write the smart contracts. Now Hyperledger is there. That's for enterprises. I write smart contracts in I think Node.js or like some language Hyperledger supports.
Yeah.
So I think the EVM chain smart contract size is around 1 billion smart contracts already deployed across these chains.
Wow.
So market is big, right? And the second is what differentiates us. As I mentioned, we already work with 1,000+ startups, right?
Right.
And some of the biggest chains we work with recently work with Taiko chain is a L1GK EVM chain. That Vitalik is like personal advisor to those guys, right?
Nice.
We work with Game Load from the biggest gaming company in the world.
Okay.
Work with Jita chain is also a new Omni chain is coming. So work with like good. We having good database of clients.
Okay.
And the main USP that why these clients choose us, we say none of the contracts got hacked. Like 1,000+ we already work with.
Yeah.
And if I talk about like one of the top auditing company, like just assume in a year 100, like out of 100, 30% our hacks are happening from the top auditing company.
Correct.
30%. Can you imagine?
30%.
30%. Like as a company, I'm just going to those guys to get my smart contract got hacked, right? And today only these guys, even as a security company, these guys did one hack today in one exchange. Our hack was around $3 million. So we always say don't trust anyone in Web3, right? So so what differentiates us? None of the contracts got hacked till now in 1,000+, and we so we like clients come to us, right? And like what they say, I'm going to this company, the like biggest company, and they work with around 3,000, 4,000 projects. Not the biggest, but the difference is there. They're going to this company just for the branding purpose, but I'm coming to you guys for the quality report. They clearly say to me, right? This is the reason, and we just don't do the smart contract audit. As I told you, we having the full stack that differentiates us, right? And one interesting thing currently we are doing is with the biggest chains, the biggest protocols. We are not saying like we don't want to flex like none of our contracts got hacked till now. We just go to their code and we just first try to find the vulnerabilities, even they got audited from any company, and then we're able to find out. Then we say like we already got your code in your public GitHub. Now we having the expertise, and then they trust us, and that's how we onboard, right? Perfect. Like in the same way, like in like I think we keep getting messages from these SEO guys, right? Like your website having these issues and reports. So we are going this way, we say your protocol is live, like not live, but your code is there, the code having these issues, and that's our expertise, and that we onboard them.
Right.
And this, you talk about the infra that we provide end to end is main our USP.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears now, Preetam. I'll talk less about QuillAudits and let's talk about you more.
Yeah.
So what, Times Internet, was that your first job?
No, so like, as I got passed out in 2013, right?
So you're an engineer.
I did engineering from Haryana. There was one university, Kurshetar University.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in one city in Haryana, Mahendragarh.
Okay.
Then I did my schooling there till 12th. Then I, did my BTech from that university. And after like BTech, same like I not got placed, right? Only one guy from my batch got placed in Samsung, right? Still exploring what to do, and that's how I joined a one startup with very extreme basic salary. Worked there for around 1 year. Then I joined the Times Internet. Worked there for around 1 year.
Around that time, before you had even gotten your first job, was there some part of you that believed that you will start a business in the future?
Yeah, so like I'm more of a thinker, right? So I like what was the problem with me? Even my family used to say, even I like my friends used to say, like when I'm there, I'm just sitting, I'm just thinking some random ideas, right? What are you thinking, right? Now because of this company startup, my ideas are like in a one way, right? And that's helped me thinking.
What were some early on ideas? Like
early on ideas, nothing. It's just random idea. Let's do this something in UPSC. Let's launch something for those guys. Let's launch for in college. Do something like for the first, like anything. Random stuff were going on mind, right?
Yeah.
But there was no proper one path was there, right? But the startups helped me to think in only one way.
Yeah.
Right. That is the most important thing happened to me. So I joined Times Internet for 1 year. Times Internet was the, I think, before like Times Internet, like I was in one company, right? That was the company I got to know more about the startups, right? So I credit to that company only. So in that company, what I used to do code also, right? But what happened one time, they were just short of the new projects. The founder told me, just go on the angel list and like figure out new companies are building on Node.js and do something.
Yeah.
And he was planning to travel to USA, and he told me figure out those companies, make a list, right?
Yeah.
Then just in 2013, like I was just exploring angel list. Like there's so much innovative startups were coming from USA.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, wow, this is so interesting, right? There is so random interesting start. And in India again, in 2014, 15, the new startups coming. But because of that company, I got to know like what these founders are actually building, what's the importance of the startups are, right? And there's kind of a startup kid, came from that startup. And while working in Times Internet, things were very good, right? But I got so bored because it was like kind of a big company, right? There was innovation was not much.
Yeah.
To be frank, then I left my job. I just told my boss I wanna leave. Then he said, okay, you can go. Then I again went to the startup, right? Because the startup kid was there, right? Then I worked there, and that was the reason, right? That's how.
So, if not this, Preetam, if I said to you that you cannot work in Web3 security anymore, you have to find another problem to solve. What is the first thing that comes to your mind?
I think first thing, the place where I come from or anything that I see, like there is extremely gap between the skills required for a job and what we currently like at least in the schools or colleges are teaching, right? There is extremely gap between these two things. So I'm from Haryana, right? So I can see the most youth that are unemployed in India are from Haryana, 30%.
Oh, okay.
Right?
30%.
Yeah. So this is the biggest number, and because these youth are just focusing on the government jobs, right? The UPSC, the army is there.
Yeah.
There's nothing bad about it, but there is bigger opportunities also there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wanna, if I'm not doing QuillAudits, I wanna solve things for those guys to make them more. Provide them more skills so that they can join the startup world or do some kind of stuff. Yeah. That thing I want to solve. And there's a real problem, not in Haryana. I think in every city, state, the problem is there. At least in the tier 2, tier 3 or 4 cities.
Right. But you've seen it up close, so that is why it rings so close to you.
Yeah.
Another thing, so Preetam, take me through a normal day of yours. What is a normal day for you like?
So my normal days, so I just pre-plan my day. So I having one, so I maintain my like calendar, right? So around 10, 11, I can see like just pre-plan the day for next day, right? So I just decide the top 3-4 tasks for the next day, like 10, 11 p.m. And then the initial mornings, maybe I'm going to the gym or doing meditation or maybe on the walk.
Nice.
that's where I focus on learning new things, right? So 1-2 hours I just listen podcasts, maybe on the Web3, maybe on the sales, maybe on the hiring,
Nice.
maybe on the anything, any skills that I want to learn. 1-2 hours as I give, then like from 8 to 9 or maybe 10, then I give 1-2 hour to family. Then 11 I start my work, right?
Okay.
Then 11 to 1, like 2 hours where I focus on the most important things as a founder I should be fixing in the company. No calls, nothing.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So that time I give to the creativity or like what problem we can fix. Then the team calls. Then again evening focus on the new things what we can do. And then family, and that's the and day ends. But I focus at least 2 hours or 3 hours on learning new things.
Nice.
Because as I told you, I used to be just a developer, right? So I learned everything from sales, marketing, growth hacking, you name it, right? So I was because these podcasts and the books I like. So in evening, I think I'm currently in Bangalore, but when I'm at home, I think before sleep I prefer 1-2 hours in the book. Or Saturday or Sunday mostly I spend on reading books.
Okay.
Again on the startups. The South America.
Mostly around business.
Mostly around business, yeah. I think there is, yeah.
But are there any non-business interests that you have, like like movies or books that are fiction or something like that?
I think movies I like.
Okay.
So I'm more into crime thriller. That gives me kick, right? So that I was like, maybe in a week 2 movies. I think I go through it with family, like up to 7-8 p.m.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Preetam. So let me ask you this: are there any predictions that you can make for the future when it comes to Web3 security, or even otherwise, general technology or entrepreneurship? Is there anything that you foresee coming in the future, in the immediate future, say 5 to 10 years? How are things going to change?
I think AI is going to be main thing, extreme main thing. AI is going to be there, right?
Okay.
So even in Web3, like now every Web3 company is now Web3 plus AI. At least they're putting on the website to show they're building a narrative. But what I see in next 4 or 5 years, every company is going to be the AI company, and they have to integrate AI in some way.
Yeah.
And in personal life also, right? We are going to consume more data from AI, and these more AI agents is going to become that are going to automate our task, right? And talking about Web3 security, what I feel, as we just discussed, there are going to be more AI agents is going to be there on the Web3 security, specific to the maybe the attack vector or the one language security. Like in Web3, we have multiple languages where we can write the smart contract, like Solidity, REST for Solana, more language for Aptos and Sui, right?
Okay.
So there can be AI agent for specific to these language security, or maybe just AI agent to detect any vulnerability, or maybe just monitor any kind of vulnerability, right? So these AI agents is going to be there, and as a company, I can decide which AI agents I want to integrate in my protocol. The same way in my personal life, I can decide which AI agents I want to automate from like Gmail to Zapier to my Notion to anything to do any kind of task to brainstorm. Same in the Web3 security, the AI agents is going to be there. And in the same direction, we are currently working on the QuillAI network.
Okay.
This is kind of combination of these AI agents specific to the Web3 security, trust, and transparency. So around these 3 main narrative, we're building these AI agents. So any developer or any builder can just use my agent SDK to launch these AI agents, and they can just write any AI agent, right?
Okay.
And any protocol can just use these AI agents, and they will get the incentive. Right?
All right.
And AI is going to be kind of, at least in the Web3 space, more decentralized. Like the Web3 guys are talking about like how we can make the AI more decentralized. If I'm training the model, like how I can get the incentive, the tokens, right?
Yeah.
So the AI agents models that we're launching, we're making this AI agents model like decentralized also. Like anyone can train those models, not anyone, like based on the rules, right?
Yeah.
And if you're training the model, you will also get the incentive in the form of token if any end user is consuming, right?
Oh, wow.
So we making the AI because that's the main thing, right? If you're using AI in the Web3 space, you should make it more decentralized.
Absolutely, yeah.
So AI agents is going to main thing in next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And for QuillAudits, is there, apart from the Quill AI network that you just spoke about, are there any announcements or anything else on the future roadmap that we should be excited about?
I think Quill AI is the main thing.
Okay.
That's why we are here in Bangalore with the team working on the Quill AI network.
Okay.
We are going to launch it in, I think, next 6 to 8 months that we're currently working on it.
Nice.
And out of these, like AI agent rebuilding, I think 2 AI agents is already live. The Quill Shield that I'm talking about, this is part of the Quill AI network that we're building. And the Quill Check is also our second AI agent, which I think not talked about it. It's a diligence tool that I told you, like anyone can just paste the address of a token. It will tell you, should you invest in that protocol or not, right?
Yeah.
So just one more interesting use case of the AI agent you can build on the Quill AI network is policy engine, right? Policy engine means it's a database of bad guys or bad actresses that involved in any hack, and that having these addresses, right? The smart contract address, like normal wallet or address. So as a protocol, you can just integrate these policy engines, and that policy engine will just block those addresses to interact with your protocol, because these are the malicious or bad actresses, right?
All right.
So any kind of AI agents you can build, and I think currently working on this third AI agent.
So Preetam, lots of talk about AI, which brings us to the final segment of the show. In which I ask ChatGPT some would you rather questions.
Okay.
And ask it to give me some would you rather questions, and I ask them from you.
Okay.
All right. Are you excited about it?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a few ready now, Preetam.
Yeah.
The first one. Would you rather be incredibly funny or incredibly smart?
I think funny.
Funny? Smart you already are.
I think the funny guys are always smart.
That is true. Yeah. Would you rather have a photographic memory?
Okay.
Or be able to forget anything you want?
I think first one, the photographic.
Photographic memory.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather live one life that lasts 1,000 years or 10 lives that last 100 years each?
Oh, very interesting. I think one life is enough.
No, 1,000 years.
1,000 years is enough.
Okay, all right. Would you rather travel the world for free for a year or have $50,000 to spend however you want every year?
I think first one.
First one,
Yeah.
You could
Travel.
easily spend more than $50,000 a year on travel. Okay. Would you rather be able to eat anything you want and never gain weight or need only 2 hours of sleep every day?
First one.
All right. Would you rather have a job you love that pays just enough to get by or a high-paying job that you hate?
I think first one.
First one.
Yeah.
I would probably think that too. All right. The last one, Preetam. Would you rather always have to speak your mind or never speak again?
I think first one I always
Speak
prefer.
your mind.
Yeah.
I get that sense too.
Yeah. Even in my team or anywhere, I just wanna speak up, do hard discussions. I call it. We're going to do now hard discussions, and then we ask hard questions to solve it. Right? Else what's the point of just keeping it?
Absolutely. Yeah. How do people reach out to you, Preetam? How can they get in touch with you?
I think LinkedIn is there. Just search Preetam QuillAudits. Is the best way to reach out. And on LinkedIn, everything is there. My Calendly website, everything is there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, Preetam, with that, I'd like to wrap this.
Okay.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.